whoa, I need to make that go away, don't I? Hey, what do human resources do? So what does human resources do? Let's make it look pretty. Have you ever wondered what the Human Resource Department really does? They do a lot more than just hiring. They actually try to, there are two main goals here. The main goal is to attract, develop, and retain effective workforce, which involves an awful lot. You've got human capital, which would be your workers, and then you have the social capital, which is the relationships you develop with the workers, and the stronger the relationship, the more the capital, and the more motivated your workers would be. A lot of HR departments try to use strategic HR planning, and that consists of understanding the current company employee needs. That's not the needs of the employee. That is the needs of the company for the type of employee it needs. And then predicting future company employment needs. Again, we're looking at what the company needs, not the employee. So those two things alone could really keep HR busy, but there are several other things they do. But first, let's look at this keeping and predicting and the job analysis. How do they know who to hire, what to hire, when to hire, and what skills to look for? So they use job analysis, which means they may follow somebody around who's already doing the job and try to pick up the skills that they need, that are needed for that job. The other thing is, after they've followed that person around or watched that person, they'll create job descriptions. And that's quite a process. I've been involved with some of those. The wording in a job description is incredibly detailed and can take some time. And finally, job specifications, which means this is what you have to do for that job. So they have to develop this even before they start to hire. So, and then there's something called creating a human resource inventory, which you're going to kind of create a database of all your human resources, which would be your workers, their skill level, what they're currently trying to develop, if they're going to school, if they're going to be available to do this job in the future, if they need any of the job descriptions and specifications here that are going to be opening up. So you've got a great big database of all the skills that your employees have. You'll use that to try to predict what you need, who you need to hire in the future. If that's all they did right there, that would be a lot. But there are other things that they do. The other thing that they look at are the legal requirements. And you've got, about 4 areas here, and there are many, many more, okay? But these are the 4 main ones. There are labor laws, the National Labor Relations Board, when you can unionize, how you have to bargain with the unions. You've got compensation and benefits requirements, such as Social Security, Fair Labor Standards Act, which has a minimum wage built into it, and all of the requirements for that. You've got OSHA, Health and Safety. It deals with some, whoops, I put that on the wrong line, guys. OSHA deals with the safety and how safe your employees are and the environment that they work in. So there's quite a bit to be aware of, and not only do they have to worry about your health and safety, they have to educate you and train you on what is safe or healthy in many cases. Then the final one that they really worry about is equal opportunity or equal employment, which is the EEO, discrimination, affirmative action, and sexual harassment. They have to, number one, get laws in place for it or rules and regulations, but they have to continually develop and educate their workers on what is permissible and what is not permissible. Then after they've got all of these taken care of here, they're in charge of the hiring process. And there's another whole video on the hiring process because it is quite extensive. Again, it is fairly well guided by legal requirements. So, again, just look at all of this. From here to here is a lot to make one go, wow. They're everywhere, and that they are. So after they get you hired, then they're responsible for the orientation and training. And many of you went through that. You'll have a week of orientation. You could have 2 weeks of orientation. You could have 20 minutes on a computer. But there is an orientation, then there's usually training to help you learn your new job, and then training to help you do a better job at your current job after you've been on in for a while. And then there's development, which is training for future tasks. Remember this back here? Creating a human resource inventory? Well, that ties right in with this. We look at the future needs, and we look at what somebody has for training already, and then we may ask them to do some development so that they can grow into a new position. They've got performance appraisals they have to worry about, and those can be objective or subjective. They also are in charge of compensation and benefits, and that means they'll manage the wage base. Think payroll. Somebody writes out your payroll. Somebody's in charge of it. There's incentives as commissions. They're in charge of that, and then they also look at the health benefits or your pension plans. About anything that deals with your employment at an agency or institution or an organization or a corporation is going to be involved with human resources. They also manage promotions, transfers, discipline, and dismissals. This is big. This one right here ties right back to the legal requirements. What you can and cannot do. Documentation is incredible for any type of dismissal. The other thing that they will have to do, if it is a unionized shop, they're going to have to manage labor management issues with the union. And there are 4 types of union shops, which will make a difference on how they're handled by HR. There's a closed shop, which is now illegal, but that used to be you can only hire workers that are in the union before. They have to be a member. There's a union shop, which means the workers will eventually join the union. I think it's usually about a 30 to 60 day period. An agency shop, which you must pay the dues, but you don't have to join the union, but you still have to pay the dues. And then there's an open shop, and that's when they can choose whether to join the union or not. So there are 4 different types of shops, actually 3, because this one we don't deal with very much, if at all. And then you have to be aware of what kind of state your state is. Is it a right-to-work state? Which means they can't force workers to pay union dues if they do not want to belong to it. So, human resources is big, it's major, it's very detailed, and no matter where you are in the company, if you're a manager, if you're the CEO, if you're a dock worker, you are going to have to understand how HR works. So there's an outline to help you kind of get started. Please be sure to watch the hiring process. It's kind of interesting because most of us know the worker side or the employee side when you apply, but we don't realize how much is involved on the other side with human resources. Thank you. Have a great day.